This is A New Angle, a show about cool people doing awesome things in and around Montana. I'm your host, Justin Angle. This show is supported by First Security Bank, Blackfoot Communications, and the University of Montana College of Business. Hey folks, welcome back, and thanks for tuning in. Today, I'm speaking with Jenni Graff, Executive Director of Scaling Montana, along with Philip Brittan, who chairs the Scaling Montana Board.
Starting a company is really hard. It's really, really hard. And there are great, days, and there are dark days, and there are a lot of challenges. A lot of it is just not knowing what to do or not knowing, should I do this or not?
Scaling Montana works to accelerate Montana's technology innovation community. The annual Scaling Montana Summit is coming up on October 23rd and 24th in Bozeman. Jenni, Philip, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you, Justin. It's great to be here.
Absolutely, Justin. Appreciate it.
So we'll start like we always do. Tell us, where did you grow up and what did your parents do? Jenni, let's start with you.
I was born and raised in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. My dad was a commercial airline pilot, and so we spent a lot of time traveling. So got the travel bug pretty early, and that's how I discovered my love for Montana. We spent our summers out in Montana, and once I got out here for college, I never turned back.
Philip, how about you?
I grew up in Montana. I was actually born in California at Stanford University. My father was just finishing his PhD, but we moved out here while I was very, very small. My grandparents had a ranch in the Paradise Valley, where I live again today. But I love tech. I studied computer science in college, sort of randomly ended up in New York City. I had the chance to join a startup, which was rare. This is the late 80s. This was way before the whole tech startup scene had really taken off. And I ended up running and founding 4 tech startups, all based in New York, and had a couple of executive jobs as well in larger firms, including twice at Google, where I was most recently. Had always been the plan to move back to Montana for a variety of reasons, the kids being, having flown the coop and us being empty nesters, plus the catalyst of COVID kind of saying, hey, we can be anywhere, gave my wife and I the courage to just say, hey, let's just sell the house in New York and move full time back to Montana as planned.
Jenni, why don't you give us a professional summary?
I had always had a penchant for entrepreneurship, and really felt like my, the ticket to being able to survive and thrive in Montana was to be able to go out and start something on my own. So I went back and got my MBA. I needed some more time and more exposure to like the real kind of things that were really powering our economy. So I got into economic development and worked for Missoula Economic Partnership for a number of years. Mm-hmm. Worked with entrepreneurs even more, and just realized maybe my strength is supporting and providing connections, and some of my strengths to grow the entrepreneurial and tech ecosystem that way.
So let's get into Scaling Montana. What is it and why does it exist? Jenni, let's start with you.
We are a statewide nonprofit. Our goal is to build Montana into one of the premier places to start and scale technology companies. And then we're also launching a startup resource guide that we're calling the Startup Resource Hub. That is an AI chatbot that draws a number of different resources that we believe are kind of the best advice that we've gathered and the best resources available here in Montana to help startups, entrepreneurs kind of get a healthy start.
Super. And Philip, you chair the board. Why have you chosen to put your efforts into this organization?
It's a domain, let's say, an activity that is very near and dear to my heart personally. I love helping startups. I've been on a bunch of boards. I've done a lot of advisory work over time, as well as running my own startups. I love sharing knowledge. And the idea of helping really encourage tech industry in Montana and help entrepreneurs who've got great ideas and a lot of passion and want to do something amazing, but maybe need a little help, some advice, some connections, some education, and certainly encouragement to help them do that is really, I find, very, very rewarding. So when I had the chance, just shortly after I returned to Montana full time, I was talking to Jenni, and they asked me if I'd like to join the board, and I jumped at the chance and thought, wow, this is a really worthy mission and a great organization that seems to be having real impact on our community here and on our state, and has a big vision of true altruism. It's been a very rewarding journey.
There is this groundswell of innovation, entrepreneurship, particularly in the technology space, happening in various communities across Montana. Maybe give us the state of play and explain why scaling Montana is sort of a necessary force in catalyzing growth in this sector.
In general, Montana has always been an extremely entrepreneurial and innovative state. We have been following this for a long time and have seen, that there's a number of different industries where we're kind of getting some traction or some clusters of activity. Easiest kind of sectors to point to are in Missoula. There's a kind of a groundswell of B2B SaaS companies that are serving small, medium-sized business. And that's everything from, advertising technology with the rise of, Path Labs and formerly Luminad, all the way to Onyx Maps got its start in Missoula as well. Submittable, kind of another initially back office solution, if you will. And then also in Bozeman, there's a more of a photonics sector. Photonics is the use of light technology and light waves technology. Bozeman is home to one of the largest clusters of activity. I believe over 30 companies call Bozeman the Gallatin Valley home. Billings seems to have a cluster of activity around property technologies. There's some really promising startups in oil and gas that are serving that area and beyond as well. Whitefish and the Flathead Valley are seeing some really cool startups. There's a lot of activity happening in the state. And then, of course, there's, the major industries that we have in the state, including healthcare and agriculture, forestry. We're seeing more and more innovations that are coming out of those main industries. And we feel as though the state is really well positioned to, kind of tap into our innovative roots and become market leaders in innovation in those areas as well. And we're really excited about the opportunity for rural communities to rise with the advent of some of those innovations.
Jenni talks about our entrepreneurial history. It goes back right to the beginning. If you think about entrepreneurship really as a mindset, as people sort of taking their lives into their own hands and believing anything is possible. If you think about our earliest industries here of agriculture and mining, you think about the homesteaders who came out here with 160-acre plot of land to try to make it on their own, or miners coming in at the time of the gold rush to come out and make it on their own. And fundamentally, it's about having that mentality. Areas like Silicon Valley and Austin and Waterloo, et cetera, that have high concentrations of tech startups, the thing about those areas is not that they're inherently great for tech or something. They generally have a local university, as we do here, as sort of these foundational pieces, but it's also the community itself. It's, in Silicon Valley, you go out to a bar and everyone around you is an entrepreneur and talking about the amazing things they're working on. And it inspires each other and it gives everybody encouragement and confidence that they can go out and do something amazing as well. And it's that concentration. And capital follows the entrepreneurs, not the vice versa. It's not that people are starting businesses in Silicon Valley because there happened to be venture capitalists there. No, venture capital grew there because there were so many startups, and then it becomes just a virtuous cycle. It just supports itself. And in Montana, we are not a very densely populated area. People are quite spread out. We have a couple of pockets, of course, as Jenni said, in Missoula and Bozeman, but we have people doing interesting stuff across the state. And so part of what we're trying to do at Scaling Montana here is really help to bring that community together to try to get that critical mass of interaction.
And I would imagine a lot of that sort of critical mass and network effect and just concentration that you outlined there can be brought to life at the summit. And Jenni, talk about the summit. It's coming up in a couple of weeks. What is the summit about, and what can people expect?
The event is really designed to bring together all these communities in a centralized location and share ideas, mindset, motivation, and really work together to launch, scale, and invest in Montana-made technologies. So we have recruited about 6 speakers right now. First of which that we just announced this week is David Cohen. He is the CEO and founder of Techstars. And then it will also be bringing in Nicole Glaros, who is another technology ecosystem builder out of Colorado. She was, I believe, employee number 1 or 2 at Techstars. Then on the second day, we'll be talking about kind of where we're best positioned to solve problems in Montana. So, we'll bring in some speakers that are talking about specific verticals. So, sustainability technology. We'll tie in the recent announcement of the Montana Headwaters Tech Hub Award that we just received $45 million from. All that to say, we're really excited for this 2-day event. We're also bringing in the first ever hackathon. So we're bringing in some hackers to work on some of the most challenging issues that are facing Montana. And First Interstate Bank is partnering with us to basically support a 30-hour hackathon that will culminate and kind of be the end of this 2-day event.
We'll be back to my conversation with Jenni Graff and Philip Brittan after this short break. A New Angle is proudly presented by First Security Bank, Blackfoot Communications, and the University of Montana College of Business. This show does not happen without these pillars of our community, and I'm so grateful for their support and encouragement. And speaking of support, have you checked out our new website yet? anewanglepodcast.com. There you can support our show directly with a variety of subscription options. Subscribers get access to bonus episodes, additional segments, writings, and other benefits. So check it out at anewanglepodcast.com.
Hi, this is Steve Albini, and you're listening to A New Angle.
Welcome back to A New Angle. I'm speaking with Jenni Graff and Philip Brittan about scaling Montana. Philip, you mentioned a few moments ago the importance of concentration and bringing people together and sharing knowledge. Do you have any stories to share from your deep experience in the startup community where these sorts of knowledge sharing events or relationships have been particularly meaningful in your development as an entrepreneur?
Absolutely. And it takes many forms. So when I was running my startups in New York, I was part of an organization called the Young Entrepreneurs Organization. And literally all my friends were other startup CEOs for a number of years. And it was really inspiring and certainly very educational to be connected and to be sharing these wisdom and just experiences, good, bad, indifferent. Is very, very valuable. And that's a big part, obviously, what we're trying to do here. Also, having mentors. I put together advisory boards for several of my companies. And that's really, as Jenni says, that's what the summit really embodies our mission at Scaling Montana, to engage with the community here, to encourage everyone and give them that confidence, to educate people on what they need to know and how to get stuff done. And of course, to connect them with each other, to help each other, to catalyze ideas, to share experiences, to encourage and inspire each other.
So Jenni, as you're putting the program together and trying to figure out how to meet the needs of the community, are there themes that emerge? I know you mentioned that the mission statement points and so forth, but are there themes of particular sorts of challenges that budding entrepreneurs face, and what patterns have you observed?
Scaling a company is really hard. And I think in general, it's amazing to see kind of what happens at an event like this where there's knowledge sharing, because I almost learn more by listening to, a founder talk to another founder about what's really challenging them rather than when I talk to them. It's everything from how do I make my first hire to how do I manage my board to where are you finding really passionate investors who are interested in this vertical, or, how do I make payroll next month? I don't want to raise around, but I do need to keep the doors open and the lights on. Yes, there are certainly patterns that are always emerging.
And Jenni, the summit isn't just for startup entrepreneurs, right? It's for anybody interested in technology, seasoned vets of the industry, and so forth.
Yeah, absolutely. We've really designed this to be a melting pot and to bring together kind of all of the important stakeholders that make a technology ecosystem thrive. So, we've designed programming for anybody that's interested in, investing in growing Montana-based technology companies, as well as corporates. There's opportunities here for more mature corporates to get a glimpse at kind of some of the fast moving innovators that might be coming into the space or who they might want to partner with. There's also a great opportunity for talent. If you're investing in growing a life here in Montana, you might want to know who are the fast movers, who's growing in the state, what are the industries that I should start building out my skill set in. And we just feel as though all of those components are really important. And we've tried to make sure that we're appealing to each one of those different stakeholder groups through this event.
So Philip, if you were trying to make the pitch to an early stage entrepreneur who's considering, freeing up the time to go to a summit, what would be the pitch? Why would it be worth the time investment and the opportunity cost to attend the summit?
Coming to the summit, it should be a very holistic experience. And I think, as Jenni said, and I know from my own experience, starting a company is really hard. It's really, really hard. And there are great, days, and there are dark days, and there are a lot of challenges. And a lot of it is just not knowing what to do, or not knowing, should I do this or not, and being caught up in those doubts or those questions. And coming to a summit like this and seeing the speakers and hearing the wisdom that they have to offer, and then at least as importantly, interacting with everyone else at the summit and talking about your idea, getting people's reactions to it, hearing their own experiences, understanding you're not alone. Everyone goes through the challenging times. Everyone has the ups and downs, and encouraging each other to push through. I don't think anyone would successfully start a business if they didn't have some kind of external encouragement from other people around them, and going out and seeking the wisdom and the knowledge of how to do things the right way, but also that encouragement from others is absolutely critical. And the summit is a great place to find like-minded people, to start and build some relationships, as well as to learn and just pick up the vibe of what's going on. That vibe itself, again, has been so important in those areas like Silicon Valley. And the more that we can get together and create that vibe and share in that vibe and absorb that vibe and then turn that vibe into action is really rewarding and frankly necessary.
Excellent. So Jenni, let's bring it back to your personal journey a little bit. At the head of the conversation, you mentioned that over the course of a variety of career experiences, you came to the realization that being in the support role and helping others bring their own ideas to life has been a positive place for you to be in. Now we've come full circle. You've got Scaling Montana off the ground. This is your second year of the summit. How does it feel? How does it feel to occupy this space that of support and encouragement and education?
Like there's a lot more work to be done, I guess that's the the hallmark of an entrepreneur, right? We've proven that there is an interest and there's a demand, and that we really brought value to people that joined us last year, and the people that are engaging in our programs in general. It's unbelievably rewarding to get little notes from people that say, that was a great talk, and I've been referencing, whoever the speaker was last year 3 times. And I mean, I find every time I join the speaker series, it's like, some of the words of wisdom that were imparted, you don't really catch on kind of the first listen, but then you start incorporating it into, kind of your day-to-day advising or how you're meeting with startups, and you start to realize the wisdom of those things. And it's just like, it's so rewarding to recognize that there is kind of a network effect, as you say, that we're starting to create. And we're not gonna stop at year 2. The network needs to grow beyond kind of the centers of technology that we've built right now. And there's a lot more people that we need to bring up in this transition to building a really healthy ecosystem. And so we're really excited about what the future brings.
Philip, you described your personal journey, growing up here on a ranch and then moving away, spending a lot of years in the big city, some of the most important tech companies on the planet, and now coming back to Montana. Maybe summarize that journey and how you've seen the state and its community change in the years since you've been here.
Montana, in many ways, it's exactly the same as it always was. Certainly, there are a few more houses, et cetera, but the landscape around here generally moves at the speed of geologic ages. The mountains are the same, the hills are the same to a large extent. The fields of the ranch look exactly as they did, frankly, hundreds of years ago, and I love that slowness. The other thing, and I mentioned this or touched on this earlier, the culture of Montana, it's a warm place. It's a place full of optimism and full of possibility. And I love that. And people are neighborly and people are supportive. And even with, a large influx of folks coming in, which we've always had, let's face it, our state is largely made of people moving into the state over time. That culture remains. And I see people coming in here who want to be part of that. They're not bringing their culture from wherever they're coming from. They're sinking into what makes Montana, such a wonderful, wonderful place. And I really appreciate that. So those are some enduring things. On the other hand, it's growing. There's a lot of activity, a lot more activity going on. You feel the vibrancy, certainly in Bozeman. It's just palpable. It's going through a boomtown time, and you can see that reflected in all the economic numbers and the growth of the population. But it has that boomtown sense of possibility and of opportunity. And I think that mix of a very healthy, stable culture and context with this overlay of growth and excitement and opportunity and possibility is really just a wonderful mix. And it's one of the things that makes, I think, Montana so appealing to people. And we see, folks moving here or folks feeling, hey, I want to stay in Montana and start a business here versus I got to move to Silicon Valley. I got to move to New York City. I got to move to wherever to go and pursue my dream. It's like, no, it's possible here. And this is where I want to be.
So, Philip, make the case for technology in Montana. Why is this an industry where Montana should be investing?
We believe that tech is a wonderful industry to add into the mix of industries that Montana has and has had over a number of years. And why tech? Well, most obviously, of course, it's in very high demand today. You can't do anything in life without encountering tech and technological innovation, whether that's in our personal lives or professional lives. So we see tech just generally providing a huge amount of value to our society and to our economy in general. So that makes it valuable. It's also a very scalable industry. It can grow quite easily. Certainly, software technology, doesn't have the kind of physical infrastructure that is needed for some more traditional industries, and so it can grow pretty fast and pretty easily, and it can be quite capital efficient. As a society, we've become dramatically more aware of and focused on the impact we have on the environment, and tech is generally, more sustainable and less impacting. And we think, that tech is a kind of industry that not only allows us to unleash the latent innovation and innovative ideas that people in Montana have and help bring those to life and bring those to market, but it becomes a virtuous cycle. And the more innovation that we demonstrate here, and the more success that we have, and the more that our tech industry and the ecosystem that fuels that industry grow, the more that folks outside the state will want to interact with us.
Jenni, what are the details? What do people need to know about the Scaling Montana Summit?
That it will be held on the 23rd and 24th of October downtown at the Kington Armory. Just go to our website, which is scalingmt.org, and click on the Summit tab. It'll give you all the details. We will release the full agenda, and you can start signing up for all of the workshops within the next few weeks. Join us, come one, come all. We're expecting about 500 people this year, and it's a better event the more people that we have engaging and excited about the opportunity and what's happening in Montana. So I'd love to see a great turnout.
Well, thanks to the two of you for telling us all about it today. And more broadly, thanks for the work you're doing to support the state, entrepreneurs, in the next sort of phase of Montana's economy. It's been great to chat, and best of luck with the summit and all the other endeavors you're into.
Thank you, Justin. It's been a real pleasure here to have this conversation, and really appreciate you inviting us on today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Justin.
Thanks for listening to A New Angle. If you like what we do and want to support us directly, please consider a subscription at anewanglepodcast.com. A New Angle is recorded at Studio 49, a generous gift from UM alums Michelle and Lauren Hansen. Our presenting sponsors are First Security Bank, Blackfoot Communications, and the University of Montana College of Business. Kelly Larson is our producer. Maddie Jordan is our production assistant. VTO, Jeff Ament, and John Wicks made our music, and Jeff Meese is our master of all things sound. Thanks a lot, and see you next time.